It's okay.
Why are you crying?
Sometimes tattoos don't need to be paid for. This would be one of those times.
Jeez, I was nervous about crying in this podcast. I have so much adrenaline that I won't feel it at first.
You probably won't.
Like at a fight when
All
you
right.
don't feel it.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Just relax your arm.
Okay.
And just breathe. You'll be all right.
It's not what you think at all. That's what most people will say. What's your thoughts getting it? First few moments of feeling it.
I can feel it, but it's okay. It doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. But you got to understand where we're at right now is a very sensitive area on the body. It's a wrist. So whenever your nerves all come off from your spine, they spread out throughout your body, and when they come down your arm, they have to spread back in to go out to your appendage. So the closer you get to a joint or to the end of an appendage, the more it's going to hurt, because all your nerves are getting more concentrated.
Yeah. So the further he goes up, the less
it'll get better up here.
Okay, I can see.
But like I said, this is not something you won't make it through.
And don't be afraid to call him an asshole and talk shit to him while he does it, you know?
Yeah, he does that.
You're like, hey, fuck you.
Like, hey, I have a guy that says, hey, that's not the friend zone. Get out of there. Well, you picked it. No, I didn't. You picked it.
Like I heard getting the ribs done hurts really bad. I was 18 and I got, actually I was 17. And I went behind my parents' back and went to the Vivid Ink and made like the first appointment for like the consultation and had them put the stencil and stuff on. It was going to be like a quote on my ribs, and then I chickened out after that. But I'm glad I did now.
I got the Lord's Prayer on my ribs, and on my other ribs I wanted the scales, Libra scales. Yeah, no. I got one side done. I'm good. It was brutal. Yes, 3.5 hours of go fuck yourself is what it was.
Who do you have do your tattoos at?
Huh?
Who do you have do your tattoos?
Usually DP, Lauren, or my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. See, like my daughter's kind of like you. She takes after her dad. You know, you got into karate and stuff. My daughter, that's her bae over there. She's off right now. She just had major pelvis surgery, so she's off. She can't even walk.
That's cool that you guys get to work together though.
Yeah, it is. It's the best.
Makes for chaotic podcasts.
Yeah. My daughter doesn't like podcasts.
Does she,
She's an introvert.
have you done her tattoos?
Yep. I've done hers. Alex has done her portrait piece. She's got a couple portrait pieces. And now she's going to add another because we just lost our kitty on Monday. So she's going to get one again.
How old is she?
She's 19.
It's crazy because it seems like yesterday, she just wasn't even able to tattoo.
Well, my daughter remembers you from Mason, and that was 15 years ago. I mean, she was only like 4 or 5.
Oh, dang.
She used to come out to the ink house with us and hang out.
Did you graduate?
Because I'd walk her over to...
Yeah, 2013.
Really?
I'd walk over to the
before I
QD
graduated.
and get her ice cream. That's why she liked coming out there, because she knew she could
Was
go
ink
get ice
house? I
cream.
can't exactly remember where it was located.
What's that? Right diagonal from QD, right on that island.
Oh, yeah.
Where the beauty salon is now?
Yeah, and I have a couple fight t-shirts that have...
Yeah, that guy that I was in business with, he was something else. I had to leave that place. I'm like, dude, I cannot do this with you.
Was he...
He's not professional. He wasn't professional at all. All he did was drink and party. It was not about business at all. He would take the money from the business instead of paying bills. He would go and buy stuff for his kids and pay his electric bill at home or whatever. I'm like, dude, this is what enables you to have money for those bills, so why wouldn't you make sure these bills are paid first? Like, I got tired of that, and I just had to leave. Wouldn't open up my own shop.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to say it.
Jesse.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You remember him.
You just don't say his last name, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
he kind of like dabbled in everything.
Yeah, he was one of those try to find a get rich quick scheme. Like he did that energy drink, that can of energy drink. But weed, it was like hemp, a hemp drink.
Oh.
It was supposed to be like medicinal purposes, and he tried to take that on and sell cases and stuff and get distribution. And he took one of my buddies, Terry, the one that has the fishing charter. He took him for $10,000.
Damn.
Actually, if it wasn't for
He
Jesse, I would
invested
have
it.
gotten into MMA though, because he's the one that invited me and Dad to start coaching at Go Work Out, and then it was Spartan Extreme right there on Cedar Street, and then that's when they brought in like the jiu-jitsu guys that trained in Dad's karate school. So I just started doing jiu-jitsu just to get in shape for soccer upstairs, and we would do like the kids karate class, and then after they had like a boxing and jiu-jitsu, and I was like, well, I'll just try this. And then I was only like 14. I really liked it.
I don't even know who you guys are talking about, but it seems like everybody I know that's like that dabbles in a bunch of businesses, they end up plugging so many people together that end up doing great things, and sometimes those people that end up doing that just go off to the wayside and just never find their footing, but
Yeah,
it's
he
crazy.
doesn't even live. He lives far away now.
Usually when I cut somebody off like that, I cut them off. Like, I'm done. Like, you're not anybody I want to be involved with.
So,
I like to progress in life.
for the podcast, I guess maybe introduce yourself
Yeah.
and maybe say what you're getting and why.
Okay.
So, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Alyse Anderson. I'm a professional MMA fighter. I have been fighting for since 2013. So how many years is that now? 12 years?
No, more than that.
No,
Yeah, you've been
2013 to now?
Yeah. I had my first fight in March of 2013. I was still a senior in high school. Because my first fight was the same night as prom. And I skipped
And where was
prom.
that at? That was at the Causeway Bay.
Yep. That's where I had all my amateur fights. And yeah, just started like as a sophomore, kind of just getting in shape, and then I had to wait till I was 18 to take my first fight. And I told my dad, like, we went to some at the Lansing Center just to watch, like Ron's Day Lounge show.
Yeah.
And there was these two girls, and I looked at my dad, and I was like, I could beat the crap out of those girls. And I was still in
Ron
high
King.
school.
That's what we call him, Ron King.
Ron King. He still puts on a good show.
Yeah.
I went not too long ago with Dad, actually.
He needs to pay the fighters better.
I wouldn't know what they pay him, but yeah, he has a lot of people coming in that he should, or at least do a good job on the percentage of the ticket sales.
Yeah.
That's how fighters make money at that level.
Yep.
We used to sell so many tickets because Dad knew so many people from the karate school.
Yeah. So speaking on your dad, so is that how you got into MMA?
Yeah, because the people that like were training in the upstairs of his karate school were like the jiu-jitsu MMA guys, and my dad actually.
Oh, they rented the apartment up there?
Well, they didn't pay. Dad just let them like.
Oh, that was
There's like mats and stuff up there.
nice.
Just let him put holes in the wall.
Yeah.
See, that's weird because my sister-in-law used to live up there. That was her.
Oh,
Her and my
really?
brother, when they first got together, that was their apartment. And my cousin lived up there before.
With the sign that says employees only.
Mm-hmm. With no
So there-
stairs.
Yeah. And yeah, I just Dad said if you want to fight, then you need to go through a camp with people that like I choose, because he didn't think that I would survive a fight camp with like the toughest dudes. His name was Matt Torres, and he had he's a pretty crazy dude. Like he had just got out of prison and like would beat the crap out of me. Twice people called 911 because they thought a man was like beating up a little girl in the basement. But
It kind of was, right?
yeah, that's on my ears. Like I have the cauliflower.
Oh, you got the
ears from that.
cauliflower ears too? Yeah, I got them.
Yeah.
I've had mine sliced and drained a couple times.
Same,
Yeah,
'cause
yours
it hurts
Lance?
so
Oh, it
bad.
hurts so bad.
Like, I've had kidney stones, and I said, like, my ears hurt worse than that.
Dude, the ears are the worst. You can't even touch them.
No, I had to sleep in my wrestling headgear so that my ear wouldn't touch my pillow. And then, like, then they swelled up.
Get
too,
them in the
like,
winter, they're the worst.
big
Because then you get out in the
fingers, like, when I was
cold and
Vegas,
anything
too,
that
so-
touches them hurts. You can't put a hat on because the hat hurts it.
Yeah, you can't cover your ears. But yeah, I was going to high school with like huge ears and bloody lips and stuff. I got called into the office once, like asking if everything was okay.
You got
at home.
DV at home?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I do karate and I have my first fight coming up. And no, I still to this day nobody like believes that I'm a fighter when I tell them. I usually don't like to tell
I
them.
know, because look how little you become.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. And it's always like, do you think you could beat me up? Do you think you could beat me in a fight? I always say no. Just because I don't like to. I was like, show me something. It is getting better as it goes up. Oh yeah, that picture. Dad,
Yeah,
Dad
that's crazy.
actually made that. Yeah, I remember. Dad was so proud of like my fight stuff. Every single person he met, he got his phone out and would be like, "This is my daughter." Even someone at the funeral was like, "If you have nothing to do for the rest of the night, just call John and ask how Alyse is doing, because he would go on and on."
All night.
Yeah.
And he
yes.
cornered at the UFC
Yeah,
3.
he cornered Harold Howard at UFC 3 the year I was born in 1995. So he had already like had a history with the sport. So like he was my manager for a long time until he kept turning down every single fight and promoters didn't want to deal with him because he was so protective. So then I was like, okay, we might have to turn this over to somebody else.
Yeah, let the reins loose, Dad. Let me fly. I'm my peacock. I need to fly.
Just a
Peacocks
little
don't
bit.
fly.
Yeah, Harold Howard.
Yeah.
That guy was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave me my belt when I tested at your guys'
That's
house.
a, oh.
At your house,
Oh,
when
yeah,
you still
yeah.
had your pool.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
We loved that pool. When we were making the boards for the stuff, we saw our pool and I'm like, dang, I wish we still had it. We had like such a huge swimming pool and
I know I had a 22-foot and I missed it, but man, I
Did
don't
you guys
miss
get rid
taking
of it?
care of it.
Yeah. Was it concrete?
No,
Ours
we had
was
a bump.
concrete.
Yeah, but see, there's so much work.
Yeah.
And my daughter got to where they weren't even really using it anymore. They'd use it like once a week, if that. Because, as the kids get older, they want to go hang out with their friends, go to the
Right.
beach or whatever. They don't want to hang out at home. So I found out that I was spending, like $600 a year to fill it and another $600 to maintain it, and nobody's using it. I'm like, I'm getting rid of it.
yeah, and cleaning it, paint,
Yeah.
vacuuming it.
That's what you're doing, though, right? That's what you got going now, right?
Yeah, ours is above ground.
Still gotta maintain it all right, especially after the winters.
I gave all my stuff to Dwayne. Dwayne down in Forge, I gave him all my stuff for my pool. My pump, filter, sand filter, and everything. So here, dude, take it all.
I remember watching that fight at Gary's house with Harold.
Oh,
UFC
and
3.
Donald?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
guys
was
like
crazy.
got
That
a
came out in the train.
Yeah.
yeah with
They
their
had
hands
on
on
the
their
white
back.
and black
Yep.
jumpsuits. Yep. Yeah. It was me, Gary, Craig. So one other person I can't remember. We were all in Gary's house in the apartment
Oh,
watching
uh-huh.
it.
Where was Gary's apartment at the time?
Well, he lived with his mom.
Yeah, he lived with his
Yeah.
mom.
So was that his
Next to the
mom's?
high school? Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, yep.
How long did you live with his mom for?
Long time. I mean, he was 19 or 20. I guess not that long. He lived upstairs in the dojo.
I remember that.
He lived in the dojos for a while. Gary
After
lived-
it was all redone.
Well, it wasn't all redone. It was, livable, but like there was no kitchen.
He
or
lived up
anything
there, like my brother.
It was like a studio up there.
Training up
You
there.
had everything in
Yeah.
one room except
We
the
had the locker
bathroom.
rooms
Yeah,
and
that's how
Right.
it was too.
Yeah.
He's up
So
there. My dad,
the front of the building,
he
he
got in
would kind of
trouble
put something to sleep.
throwing up the phone bill for like the porn calls. Oh, oops.
You can say whatever you
It's all
want.
good memories. So how long were you fighting amateur before you got a real pro fight?
Like 3 or 4 years as an amateur, but then like my first 3 pro fights were still in Lansing. Like I fought for like the pro title in Lansing, which to this day I can't believe that I like fought 5 minute rounds for like $1,000. Like now I
That's
would
insane.
never do that.
That's insane.
I remember finishing
5 minute rounds. That's a long.
Yeah, 25-minute fight.
Yeah, normally they're 3 minute rounds, and you might have 8.
Yeah, 5
That doesn't
days
even
is
count the
what
months of training leading up to the fight. That's crazy.
Yeah, preparing for, because then like you're doing like 6.5s and training 7.5s and yeah, for like $1,000. But
Wait.
yeah, cutting weight because I
Getting
fight
paid
at
an
105.
opportunity. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean it did because then my next fight was for Invicta, and that was like the first like. I mean at that time I thought it was like a big pro fight, but yeah, then I went from Invicta, but I was still working. Like I got a job at my EM2 license, and then was working at McLaren as like a tech, and because like fighting was more of just like a hobby, even though I was professional, because just didn't pay that much. And mom was like, "You need to get a real job in between fights." So
Mom got tired of footing bills.
yeah, she did.
Time to do some adulting.
Yeah. So then I was working at the hospital and got a call in like 2020 that 1FC was having like a 105-pound Grand Prix tournament. But I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not gonna train to like fight the best in the world when I have like a job. And so then they offered to do like a monthly salary to replace my job. And I was like, okay. And my manager was like, there's no way that they're gonna do that. Like, that's unheard of. Like, I was
Not
like,
when
"That-"
your valuable skills are at
I was like,
play.
that's the only way I'll do it then. So you can either tell them that or like I'm not gonna tell them no. So he was like, oh my gosh, like they agreed to this. And I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna quit my job. And then I moved to Florida. I did the tournament, and now I've been with them ever since 2021.
Speaking of tournaments, when you first started out, didn't you and your dad and was it your sister or brother all play state?
Oh yeah, when
All
we did
one
our
states?
tournament.
Yeah.
There's like a little scent that, cause like the traditional karate school we were at didn't really like go to tournaments and stuff. But like when my dad grew up on like a karate circuit, like every weekend he was going to these tournaments. So I like told my dad that, you know, I want to compete, and it was kind of frowned upon a little bit at the traditional school, but I mean they weren't gonna say anything to my dad. So, and I would also compete at a higher level than I was in my traditional school. So, like, I would switch belts to go to the competition. So, like, well, my dad promoted me.
Oh, that's a picture of you at the school. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll put that up on the screen so they can see it too.
Oh,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So how old were you in that picture?
14?
14?
Yep. I remember thinking it was so cool with our first, like, Victor photo shoot, because he was, like, doing...
So wait, let me guess. So you pulled the Daniel LaRusso? You had your dad switch your belts at the tournament
Yeah.
and say that you were this just so you could compete?
Yeah, because
That's so cool.
I needed to compete at the higher level, and
Right,
I
but
wasn't
you
getting-
couldn't because you didn't have the belt yet. So your dad says, yes, she does. I did
yeah,
it.
he did. So I was competing in the brown belt division, and I was still
Daniel.
like a green belt. And
Called the Miyagi.
But you still were able to hold your own?
yeah, that's. I mean, I took that. That was actually like the black belt divisions, because then I eventually, when I turned 14, because you also have to wait till you're 14 in the traditional to get your black belt. So once I turned 14, I tested like right away for my black belt, and then we started traveling even more. And I always hated going to Detroit because the sparring there was way tougher than like going to Grand Rapids. But I did get my butt kicked a few times, and also because it's point fighting. Like if the girl's head like goes back, like that's like a point against you. And so I would be like, man, I'm just hitting them too hard, like not quick enough. But yeah, that's also why like my dad knew that I'd be good at MMA, because like I could punch a lot harder than I could like that quick style. But like the katas and stuff, like that's what my dad was really good at, was forms. And
Oh, the katas.
yeah, and I took after him, and that's where I won like the most medals and stuff. But Grand Rapids, I could always go and beat the crap out of anybody there. That's where Mom started.
You used to fight?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I started in Grand Rapids karate. That's how I met her dad.
I was gonna ask you the other night, but I didn't want to interrupt your show, because if I interrupt Housewives, she literally pauses the channel and is like,
Hey, I do the same. I got ADHD. Somebody starts talking to me, I gotta
I
stop.
think that's an old people thing.
yeah, and then they like look at you like, how dare you interrupt my
This is
show?
like, that's my, when I sit down, I want to like chill.
Decompress.
But sometimes at night is when I get talkative and stuff about my day, and once I get talkative, sometimes it's hard for me to stop. So she's like, is that enough? Any more
No, I
questions?
said, are you done?
Yeah, before I could play again, I was gonna ask you like, what made you get started in karate at Grand Rapids?
I always wanted to do karate.
So you just went by yourself one day
Yeah.
and signed up?
How old were you?
25.
Oh, so that came in good for self-defense too, right? You know, being a woman.
And Smurf was my instructor.
Yeah.
So did you start in karate or did you wrestle before that, or was
No, just karate. And then like I played soccer, like super competitively, like travel soccer,
That's what my daughter did. That's why she's home with pelvis surgery right now.
like an injury from soccer.
Well, it was, we thought, but then come to find out the reason it happened is because of soccer, but also because she was born with hip dysplasia and we didn't know. Her hips were tilted wrong. So it stretched her labrum, and that was her power leg. So when she kicked, it ripped her labrum, and 2 big tears in her labrum. They repaired it, and then they tore again. And that's when they found out she had hip dysplasia. So she just had to have her hip cut in 4 sections and rearranged and plated or screwed together with 5 screws, and then bone grafts put in.
man? that
She's
shit
still at
sucks.
home sitting
On
in
both
bed.
sides?
Nope, they only did the one side. They said that both hips need done, but as long as she's not athletic, it shouldn't affect her. And so she's not going to be
She's
athletic.
only-
She's done. But she's not going to play soccer anymore. She played for 13 years.
Yeah.
She played for Rush. She played for LSC.
I did rush.
At least
Yeah,
played
she,
for Rush too.
Yep, she played for Rush for a few years, but she's just 13 years of playing soccer all year long, because they do, travel league, and then when they got old enough, they couldn't play travel league all year because of the high school.
Right.
Then they would just play high school and then travel league in the fall, and then in the winter they'd play indoor.
Yeah, it's all year long.
It's all
You only
year
get,
long.
like 1 or 2 weeks in between.
Yep,
maybe.
that's it.
And that's like the best week ever. It's so weird going in.
Yeah, my daughter actually loves soccer because, like I said, she's an introvert, so she thought she could be free on the field, and if she had a bad day, she'd go out there and just murder the field with the ball, and just get out there.
What position did she play?
She played forward.
Forward.
They stuck her at
center
mids
mid.
one year, all year, because she was good. So they put her at mids to try to help carry defense a little bit. And she hated mids.
I was
So I
center
run
mid.
it.
She hated mids because she was constantly just non-stop running.
Yeah.
Because you got to play forward and you got to play defense at the same time. when
Yeah,
you
if you're
play
center
mids.
mid, you gotta play everywhere.
Yeah.
So you went from karate straight to jujitsu, or did you do anything else to learn like more striking before?
I also did it started with a cardio kickboxing class, but I had picked it up pretty fast. So the guy that was coaching the kickboxing class was let me start holding mitts for you and like invited me to his house to hit mitts with like a small group of like MMA people, and he was a fighter. And it's crazy because I mean, this was like 15 years ago, and there was like a small MMA team called Pound for Pound, and I saw a girl yesterday running at the wrestling practice that had a Pound for Pound shirt on, and I was like, Stan, who is that girl? And her dad was one of the ones that was in like that little training room with us, and now she's in high
That's
school.
crazy.
And I was like,
Hey, so when we were in high school, we had a guy that we wrestled. He was blind. And he was the best wrestler you could ever imagine. He's blind. He's an old guy. But when we were in high school, Stan, I think, actually been to his house too. But we used to go to his house. He had a huge wrestling mat in his garage. It's all a heated garage. And we go over to his house and he'd teach us wrestling moves. He was so good, but he was blind. And it was, you'd face off with him and you didn't think he would know where you're shooting in. Dude, he knew. He could feel it, hear it. He was crazy. He gets his hands on
hearing was probably crazy. Anybody
Yeah,
in the other
last I
room talking
heard,
shit?
he is still coaching.
Coaching wrestling?
Yeah, out of his house. And I'm 54 years old, and he was doing it when I was in high school.
That's crazy.
He's right over
That
in
man's
Holt.
probably in his 70s, 80s.
Ask Stan about him when you see him. Stan will tell you.
Okay.
Jared's been over to his house. I can't remember his name. Jared Till has been over there at his house.
Yeah, I met Jared on Monday. Yeah, that's Stan's buddy. That he said
Jared's fun.
he brought him into like coaching team. He was the
Jared
one that
looks like a
worked
big,
outside.
huge Ivan Drago.
He's just like really tall.
He's like 6'4", and he looks like
He's
Ivan.
solid though, right?
Yeah, he looks like
he's a
Ivan.
big kind of a
Yeah, he
big
looks
guy.
like a Russian.
Yeah,
He's
I
big.
saw him, I think
Yep.
the other day.
And he's goofy. He's so fun. I love Jared.
They have another one of Stan's buddies that's also an assistant coach, but I already forgot his name.
Wasn't Scott, was it? No, it couldn't have been Scott.
He actually has a pool barn that is
Hogarth? No.
like has mats in it and also a CrossFit gym. He says like a lot of MMA fighters go there, but yeah, I forgot his name already. They invited me to use the spot to train when I first. That was nice.
So when you started going into the more professional areas of fighting, was it what you expected? Were you like more enthralled or less enthralled than you thought? Like what was your experience once you actually started getting into like the big dog rooms?
Well, my dream was to always like be fighting full time, like make enough money that I didn't have to have another job. And then when I finally got that, I feel like I've also had purpose, like helping people. Like I was at McLaren, and it was just like kind of like me on my own in my apartment. And, like they always say, like fighting is lonely. But,
It is, because if you're not training, you're
Yeah.
recovering.
like, what are you really doing other
And-
than like sitting around?
And then the money you make isn't enough to compensate you in the long run unless you get really hard into it. Look at Tyson. Dude's broke until he started his weed thing. Yeah, he's had a lot of lawsuits, but a lot of people don't realize you can't fight for the rest of your life.
That's why the Rocky movies and the before Rocky 6, where he lost all of his money and went back. Like I think that's one of the most
Yeah, Creed,
relatable things.
and you look at Creed.
Before Creed.
I know, but
Rocky
I'm saying
V.
that Creed, the movie Creed, where
Yeah.
he trains Apollo's son. He was poor in those shows. He didn't have all that money. He had a little restaurant.
Yeah, it's because in Rocky 5, he had a bad contract and one bad fight and lost everything, and
Yeah.
it was like this rebuild of like his whole identity, which was like crazy how he was able to have
But
this whole arc and then
that's how
like the
fighting is.
yeah.
And have you found out the politics side yet? Have you seen that? It's
Yeah,
bullshit.
I mean, for me, it's kind of helped a little in my favor.
Sometimes it can, but for
Yeah.
me, I call it
Yeah.
bullshit
Being a
because
girl.
I got screwed one year. We were at the state tournament for Golden Gloves, and I was all the way into the finals. I beat everybody all the way up, got into the finals, or the semifinals, and went up against a guy, and I beat the piss out of this guy the whole first and second round. Not a single stop was called. You know, not even an 8 count, nothing. I'm pummeling the hell out of this guy. Come out of the third round. As soon as we come out, I stepped to the side because he come in quick. I stepped to the side, threw one. He turned around and threw like a 4-punch combo, and I went like this. The ref called an 8 count on me. Like,
Now
dude,
you're
what the
gonna
hell?
fall down?
No, he called an 8 count because I blocked up. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Dude, what are you doing? I'm supposed to just take a punch, dude? I'm blocking you. Like, and I'm arguing with him. And he just kept counting. I was like, man, this is bullshit. And he's like, that's it, you're out of here. He disqualified me. You're not supposed to talk to the refs. My coach told me that, Moses. Well, anyway, they disqualified me. That guy ended up going on to lose somebody and knocked out. I was so mad. That would have been my belt.
I've had 2 bad decision losses. One was really, really bad in California. My first loss ever. I took this girl down like 7 times, and she didn't take me down once. But when I would take her down, she was like striking me from bottom, like literally like bottom guard, bottom half guard, like just hitting my ears and stuff. And in my head, I'm like, okay, like I'm controlling this whole fight.
But she's pointing every time.
Yeah, they were like, oh,
She's pointing. She's getting heavy.
staying
She's
busy
pointing.
on
Yep.
bottom and stuff, and I was just like, I'll never fight in California again. Like they just have the worst judging ever.
Yeah, well, come to find
California's
out,
fun.
my fight, the kid that I was fighting was from Grand Rapids, and the ref was from Grand Rapids. My coach told me, he's like, dude, when it's set up like that, you have to get a knockout or a clear win.
Yeah,
There is no ifs,
you gotta
ands, or
finish the
buts.
fight.
And I'll tell you what, a loss can get in your head. You know that. Loss can get in your head bad.
After every loss, I take. Well, actually, lately, like I take a lot of time off between fights.
Well,
just
the
to
last
get
loss
injured.
is that girl going to give you a rematch? She needs to.
Uh,
Because she should understand your situation that you were going through. She should offer you a rematch on your
yeah, I didn't
last
think.
fight.
I didn't like. I don't know if you saw like they played like this little video.
No, this last one, the girl from, is she from Brazil?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's where it was. But it's because she just found out about her dad.
And they played this video like right before I walked out that I didn't expect, and it was like they had flown me out like 2 weeks before the fight, like to get some filming, and I had been in Vegas like and like training for the fight, and like I didn't plan to come home before the fight, but they flew me home for 24 hours. It was like the first time I saw like dad had like lost a ton of weight and like was not my dad really like as
A
much
shell of
anymore.
him.
Yeah, and so like they took like did some videoing, and then right before I walked out, the first time I see like this like minute and a half long video that they put together, I'm like bawling my eyes out, and then they're like, okay, you gotta walk out, and like all my coaches are like, get it together, and I like literally was just fighting
Easier
on like
said than
instinct.
done.
Like I didn't follow one part of the fight plan. I
You
just
can't.
was surviving.
You can't. When you get into
Yeah,
the
that's
ring,
crazy.
you have to have your head 100% in. If your head's not 100%, you're not going to follow through. And that's what sucks about it. And that's why I said to that girl, understand what happened prior to the fight, and is she going to
I
offer
don't
the
know.
rematch?
I don't really heard anything since. They definitely like have backed off since like they've known what I've been dealing with. So
Yeah, giving you the space.
yeah.
And the hardest thing about a job where you travel like that is when you have that check-in and you see anybody in your family and it's like a substantial difference. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely not. And then, like a week before the fight, that mom had to call 911, and he had like a blood clot and almost died, and was in the hospital for like 5 weeks. And that was like, it happened a week before my fight, and my manager and everyone just like did everything that they could just to, like get me through the fight, but it was like the most traumatic thing that it like, I was so angry at first because I was like, I felt used, like they used this story and they used like what I was going through to like
Try
sell
to
the
get in
fight.
your head and sell the fight, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, they don't care about me, like they just want.
But also
Show
it is like
business.
the emotional weight.
That is the
does-
industry.
That
That
can
is. They do not care what it's going to do to you in the long run. They want the money to draw the crowds,
Especially
to get the
like
money.
they're just
But-
now trying to reach like the U.S. crowd, so of course, you know, they're gonna do whatever they can to bring
We agreed
viewers.
to it.
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at
it's
the
hard to say no when
Jake
they're
Paul
paying
Mike
every
Tyson
month.
fight. Mike Tyson, the way he looked in that ring, they say that it was staged or whatever. It doesn't matter. That dude comes in there hobbling like he did, walking to the ring. He has no business getting in the ring. He can't even hardly walk. You know, his legs, his knees are all shot. He's got a knee brace on. Like, dude, you
I
should
didn't
never
get-
let
I
that
didn't
happen.
get-
But
I
they
didn't
don't
get
care
that.
because how much money they made off from that fight.
Yeah.
And
They
Mike
did at least
Tyson didn't care either because they made money off from it.
Yeah, they
You know,
took
fighters
care
do
of
that. They
it
will put.
financially,
Yeah.
I won't
They
say
paid
his
real well.
name, but I had a trainer, and he had a brother, and brother fought overseas and would get knocked out. Well, you know, when you get knocked out, you got anywhere from a 30 to 90-day suspension on you until you can see a doctor and cleared. Well, he would use his brother's name and go fight under his brother. And his brother got a letter in the mail saying that he's been restricted from training or boxing for X amount of days. And he's like, I haven't boxed in years. Called his brother, and his brother's like, yeah, I had to get that fight, and I couldn't get it under my name. Because over there, he's making money overseas, and he's shipping it back here tax-free. And so he was trying to get all them fights over there, and he got knocked out on one and used his brother's name to get the next fight.
Yeah, this entertainment business is crazy, you know, especially once it's all
But fighters
corporatized
put
and they get rid of
themselves
that
in
human
a
touch.
lot of torture and stuff because they're busy chasing that bag, chasing that dream,
So
which
what-
is fine. Chase the dream, but you got to make sure you stay healthy.
So what's your long-term plan? Like, what do you want to have happen in your career? Like, what's your hopes going forward?
I feel like I have like achieved everything like that I've set out to. Like I fought for the biggest promotion that I can.
Did you go fight with Dana White?
Oh, I don't fight at 115. So if they ever
She's
open
a
my weight
105.
class,
Oh, that's right. They don't go down
They
to
don't
one.
have
That's
105.
right.
because I've
Come on,
talked to
man. What's
Dana
10
about
pounds? You fucking
it. I
beef
mean, I've
up
just
in the
trained.
gym. Beef.
I've tried
Eat
it.
some eggs and beef. Hit them weights. Beef up.
Because those girls are sometimes coming from like 150, 150.
Do some squats. You put some weight on your butt cheeks. Or you put
Dude,
5 pounds in
she
the butt.
can't. She's
I
built
know.
like her father.
I fought 139 to 147.
Yeah.
I wish
I
I
did,
did.
and I haven't fought in 20 years. But when I did, I fought 139 and 147. I weigh 136 right now, so I was up to 210 when I was powerlifting. But you don't use it, you lose it. I'm back down. I can't gain weight. I eat more than my whole household,
Yeah.
and I can't gain weight.
Mom always is like,
She-
it'll be
you
like my
don't
night
eat very
soda
good.
for the day. It's
We'd,
just like-
we'd go to fights, and everybody's waiting to get there to check in and weigh in so we could go hit the buffet. All the way there, I'm smashing food. They're like, dude, we got weigh-ins. Dude, I'm not worried about my weight, dude. Never. I can never overweight.
So when you talk to Dana, like, what's his, like, is he like even considering dropping that low, or?
He has said there's not enough girls. He feels like, even though I've tried talking him into it, like that
He hasn't
there,
seen the Muay Thai circuit thing.
that there's like a lot of 115ers that I feel like would drop like to there, and
Oh yeah, because it's easy for them to drop, and they're not going to lose anything but
But the
body fat.
115ers are probably
And they'll
natural
hold-
130, 140. So
even
Some
like a
of
few of
them.
them are 150.
Yeah, some of them, but there are some that are just making 130, and that's so they can fight. They have to eat. So if they want to drop it, it's going to be easy for them. They can drop fat without muscle.
So what would it take for you to put on an extra 10 pounds for a fight? Like, this is not possible?
If it was like boxing or something, like I would, but when it comes to like grappling, somebody that is cutting from, like 140,
It takes a toll.
like once they get on top of you, like
It's
mean,
different.
yeah, it's like it's such a huge difference, and like no matter like how good your technique is or whatever, like when someone's just like that much bigger, like it,
You got to do everything twice as much to keep up. I boxed welterweight, and I fought all the way up to 190. And I only weighed 139, at the most at that time. But I couldn't get weights at mine anymore because nobody wanted to fight me. They're like, no, we don't want him. They're like, hey, we got a welterweight. Anybody got a welterweight? Because they do matchups. Like, yeah, we got Sean. And they're like, yeah, no.
yeah,
They
sometimes
pass it.
promoters won't even
And
do
so he's like, dude, there's nobody that wants to take the welterweight. So there is an opening at 150 or 165 or whatever. I'll take it.
So
I'm not
are you-
scared, but I'll tell you what, yeah, you gotta bust your ass when you're dealing with a bigger person. Whether it's a bigger person that's dropped down to your weight or just a bigger person altogether, it's more. Because they're used to carrying, say a 155 or 160 pounder drop down to 140. They're still carrying that
Yeah.
that swing. They're still carrying that stamina that they did at that. It's just going to be faster because they've lost weight. So it's actually can be brutal on them. You got to work hard.
So are you gonna open up your own gym in Michigan and like maybe continue where your father left off, or like what's your thoughts?
I'm like just starting to like open up to the idea of even coaching. So like I just started kind of like with the wrestling program.
Yeah, you did say that. How's that been going?
I've only done it a few days, so, but like first day I was so nervous to even talk to anybody, and like Stan is so motivating though. He's like, I want to bring you here if like, you know, I didn't think you knew what you were doing. And so the second day, like I actually like wrestled with someone. Like, I really have enjoyed it, especially like I don't think that I know that much, and when like girls like like looking up to me and stuff and like asking me to watch them and being able to like show them little things, like I definitely feel like that purpose again.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that you went from looking up to somebody when you got into it. Now you got people looking up to you, and
Yeah.
Overcoming that imposter syndrome is real though. I think that's like a lot because we're around the same age, and I think once you start to hit this point, it's like we're finally becoming the real adults in the room. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's kind
I
of a
don't feel
weird.
like it still. Mom definitely doesn't think it's that way. She barely leaves me home alone at the house. But
you don't know what you're gonna come home to, do you?
yeah, I'm still getting a call. Is everything okay? I'm still sitting here.
Well, I haven't
That's a
moved off
mom
this
thing.
chair. It's a mom thing.
Yeah.
That's not gonna end.
No.
Yeah.
My daughter's at home with her girlfriend all day. You know, like today, my wife's probably called her 3 times, check on her because she's laid up with her hip. But even so, I touch base with my daughter at least once or twice a day if I'm not home with her. You know, I always check on her. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a parent
Just
thing.
what we,
But
what
moms
we
are
do.
definitely more intense, I'm sure.
Even when I'm in Vegas, like,
Oh yeah, I would. I'm surprised your mom. I'd be calling her every day if she was in Vegas. If my daughter was in Vegas.
don't go
Hey, you
there.
okay?
We don't
Call me
go.
this afternoon. Hey, okay? Call me before you go to bed.
Yeah.
unless
I'd be
she's
doing
really
it.
mad at me, then
Vegas is scary.
Cold shoulder.
I don't care for Vegas.
Yeah, I've been there.
Really?
It's fun, but yeah, it's a great place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there.
The spirit
like a
is so
bunch of
awesome out
rock.
there.
Out there.
Well,
I like
it's-
the rocks.
well, unless you're right down in Vegas, then it's nice. I mean, you got all the landscaping at the casinos and all
Yeah.
that.
I'm not a gambler.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a great place to visit. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to live there.
We went
too
to
hot.
Fremont Street.
I love
that
Fremont's
was cool.
awesome,
You
yeah.
know,
I love the
there's a lot to
driving.
see.
Yes.
That was cool. But I feel
I like Fremont
once you've
because
seen it, you don't even go back.
everything's cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
I can go down there and play like $5 hands of blackjack and go to the casinos. They're like 15, 20. My dollars go further in
Yeah.
Fremont Street. Definitely.
I've actually never been to any of the other casinos on the main strip.
Really.
No.
I think the
Because they wouldn't
Venetian's
allow
my
it.
favorite on the main strip.
Really?
Yeah. It's
You won't let
beautiful
her, she
there.
won't let you take her?
I
No.
can barely, also when she comes, she wants to drive from here to Vegas.
I don't
Oh,
like
you don't want that drive.
I don't like to fly.
That's
She's
a long
done
drive.
it a few
I mean,
times.
I
and I'm
Yeah.
like,
See, I drove all
I don't
over
like
the country
to. I don't like
recently
to
and
fly
I'm over
either,
it.
especially
Really?
with
I'd
what's
like
going
to
on with
go.
the airlines. There ain't no way I
yeah,
want to fly.
that makes me
Yeah, not right now,
Something
yeah.
is going
Oh,
on.
my friend was just at the airport and she says she's never felt so nervous in her life.
You guys
Why?
see they just
Because the
arrested
airport
people
was
that
damn near
released the
empty.
footage of the helicopter crashing into
Why?
the plane.
Because everybody's scared to fly with all these planes
Those accidents
dropping.
have been going on.
Oh.
Yeah,
the only
I
one
heard-
I saw was the one with the
I think there's been like
Yeah, the
6,000
helicopter.
extra crashes this year, or some crazy
there
numbers.
was
Yeah, they just had a senator call out the Boeing,
Yeah,
the
it's a
CEO
massive
of
investigation
Boeing,
because they
about hey, you
I'm
make
driving.
40, you make
I
this
was
guy
sure
makes
about this up.
$34 million a year salary. The owner, the CEO of Boeing, makes $34 million a year, but that's a 34% increase he got for his raise, but yet all the mechanics that worked on the planes only got a 1% increase. He's like, you guys need to make better planes and take care of your workers
Well,
better.
it's not even just that. It's that they have been, so under the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion, they have been purposely hiring people based on demographic quotas and not their actual ability. So
Right.
like, the board would look at them and be like, well, you don't have enough
You don't have
black
enough
females, you
yeah,
don't have
yep.
enough gays, you don't have
Yep.
enough whatever. And so then they would fire people that were good at their job and just get people that looked like who they needed
Because
to.
they met their regulations.
So they have unqualified people that they're just forcing through.
Oh,
Where
that's actually insane.
it should just be merit based. I don't care if you're
Yeah, I
an
don't
Asian,
care.
a white, a
I don't
black,
care
a
if
Mexican.
you're Asian. If
Right.
you're a
Just do
better
it, you
doctor
know?
than him, I
Right.
want I want a good doctor. I don't care if he's black, Asian, Mexican. I
It's
don't
crazy.
care.
But yeah, that's so.
But
Trump
then
is
they
trying
feel
to make
that
it
people
so they
couldn't
can
get
only
into
hire
the
off of merit
airlines
right now. We'll see if
because
that
of their
happens.
color or because of their
Yeah,
sexual
like,
gender.
They had to like,
And so they did away with that and said, well, you have to allow so many gays. You can't discriminate.
No, I'm just saying that's like what's happening right now. Is like so the
Yeah.
administration is trying
But
to
he
do
looks
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
He looks crazy. Some of the things he says, he's just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
what were the other plane crashes?
Yeah, what I
There
only
was
saw
one in
one.
Hawaii. There was
Yup, the one in Hawaii.
I mean, there's been a whole bunch of them. Like if you were to just look up, like every state has had them. There's been. There was a jet that just crashed in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it
that's
just
the one
like
I just
landed
saw,
in the middle
yeah.
of the city and like fucking killed a
They
bunch
just
of
show
people.
it just going like this and just going right down.
It's been so many of them.
My mom, our plane wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't
tried-
like flying. Since COVID happened, I used to go to conventions every year, like 2 times a year. I go down and do conventions in Florida, tattoo conventions. I quit doing them because after COVID hit, all the regulations and stuff, and then the shit with all these planes going down. I'm like, nope, I'm not getting stuck somewhere because they
You
cancel
could drive to
flights.
Florida.
Yeah, but they cancel flights. I don't want to spend $800 on a rent-a-car to get back home.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
because my
right.
plane's delayed for a
Right.
week, and I can't miss a week's worth of work that I didn't put in for.
Yeah, the
I got
plane crashes
animals
are
at home. I
crazy.
gotta take. No,
Oh,
I gotta
I
get
know.
home. So I just quit. I quit. I mean, if I can't drive, I'm not going.
That's the reason I've been driving. I just went to North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, like all over the place in the last few weeks. But I
You
haven't.
drove?
Yeah, because I've been
He
afraid.
drives.
I'm
He
not-
takes his cat with him.
Yeah,
Oh.
and my
well,
Camaro just driving around the country with my cat. Yeah.
You know what? I don't mind because I like to
Down in the
stop
down by
here
the
and
river
there,
in the van with my
whatever.
kitty.
But I don't stop like her and her dad would stop at everything. Like they
Every
wanted to see
3
these
hours.
That's
little
me.
rock people.
That's me. I want to stop and check
You
this
know,
out.
or what was that thing where you spray painted Cadillac Ranch?
Cadillac Ranch.
They did
Yeah,
all
that
that.
We
That's
swam
not
with the manatees and
that I
Crystal
would have
River.
done.
Oh,
That would be
that's
cool.
nice.
That
Yeah,
was fun.
they did a
That
bunch of
is
stuff.
awesome down here. My buddy went
And
to.
some of it I wouldn't have done, but some
And
of
they
it I would
guarantee
have
that
done.
you
You
get to
know?
see them.
He actually has them come up in his backyard, but they went down to the Crystal River because he lives on a island down there and it's a gated community. I don't know what island it is. Cortez.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he goes out there and he has a charter boat, but the manatees come up in their canal all the time.
That's cool.
He goes
Yeah,
out there and
it's
sprays
usually
fresh
canals
water
where
on
they're
them.
I don't think I've ever seen a manatee in person.
I did once when I was
You
swimming
can't
in the
feed
ocean
'em.
and I got so scared. I just saw this huge thing coming at me. But then I got out of the water so fast and people were like, oh, those aren't, they're nice to like big sea cows. I was bummed that I ran out so fast.
We got back in the water.
I tried to, he was gone.
I probably would have got out of the water too, though.
Yeah,
So
you
I don't
just
play
see
with
this
the
huge
ocean.
blob coming at you, yeah.
That's like dolphins. I see a dolphin coming. I'm not trying to swim with them.
Yeah, I heard they can like spike you with their nose.
Well, then not only that, they're very sexually aggressive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
they're-
get raped by a dolphin in the
What?
ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, they
It's
are.
a fact. You know how many people get raped by dolphins?
What?
Look it up. It's true. It's funny as fuck, but
It's
it's
like
true.
the number one risk
My
at sea
wife
with
and daughter
dolphins,
went to the
yeah.
Bahamas. They want to swim with a dolphin. I said, no, I'm not swimming with dolphins. You know what happens to people that do that?
Oh, I
Go
saw one
research
in
it.
Mexico.
Yeah, dolphins are extremely sexual animals.
They're just
My favorite
super.
animal.
My favorite animal.
But they just like to chew on like the stingrays of like poisonous fish and shit, and they just like get high and then they just like do crazy shit.
Yeah.
Dolphins are insane.
They are.
Well, they're always happy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
That's
they're
why.
always high.
Yeah. you
Going
just-
eating stingrays and
eating-
jellyfish.
That's why I
and-
liked them because they always had a smile on their face.
Yeah.
When I went to Hawaii, I went on like a dolphin excursion on a catamaran.
Oh yeah, we've done those.
That
Are
was
awesome.
cool.
Those are awesome.
Yeah,
But I ain't getting in the water
close.
swimming with them.
No,
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
it was
Yeah, we-
Hawaii, so you couldn't.
Yeah, they like swim right next to the boat and jump and porpoise.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
was
We
cool.
did that down in Florida and right down at Clearwater Beach. We used to go out down there all the time.
We
I
went
wish
to
I had
Clearwater
went.
once.
Clearwater's nice. It's built up a lot
Clearwater.
now.
Clearwater in Florida.
Clearwater Beach. Back when we used to go, it was just mom and pop, little like complexes that
Not
you could
anymore.
rent.
Yeah.
Now they're all skyscrapers and this and that, big luxurious hotels. It's not the same feel to us. We still go every time we go there. We go to Clearwater because they got a couple restaurants. Shepherd's is really good, and then they got the place my daughter loves to go to get her gator bites.
The skyline in Tampa is amazing out there now too. It's like crazy how modern it is.
Really?
Yeah,
Have you ever been to Panama City?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have spent like 2 days in the water. I felt like with rays coming through, they were feeding, and I just stood in the water.
That's what I did down in
and
Clearwater.
I didn't touch them.
It was
they got close.
it was mating season when we were down there in Clearwater Beach, and I was out behind Shepherd's playing in the water with them. I'd sit there and they'd swim right up and feed them.
They're cool.
I had shrimp and stuff, and I was just feeding them, and they were wild. But I woke up the next morning with blisters like this on my back because I'd been over playing with them. I put sunblock on though, but I was really dark already. But I put sunblock on. Well, come to find out, the sunblock I used wasn't saltwater proof.
Oh. So the second in the water, it came off?
Yup, the salt water ate it off. So I ended up in the emergency room there in Bel Air.
Oh man.
Ended up flying home on a plane with a silk shirt draped over me because I couldn't fucking wear a shirt, but they wouldn't let me on a plane with no shirt. So we went and bought a silk shirt for like $100 and some from a store just so I could get on the plane.
That's crazy.
Did it blister?
Oh yeah, I had like 2-inch tall blisters my whole back.
Well, I haven't had that in years.
Oh, it was
That's the
bad.
worst.
They were debating whether to put me in the bath with the saline and scrub it with a brush. Whew, to get it
That
out.
would hurt.
It was burned.
When I was a kid, I've had
I had to go
those.
check in with my doctor when I got here to make sure I didn't get infections.
I remember when I was a kid, I'd lay
It was
there
bad, it
with the
was
blisters
bleeding.
on my shoulders, and
Oh,
I used
dude,
to have
they were
like
bad when
really
they
short
bleed.
hair, and it would be like on top of my head. Just
Oh, those are the
blisters.
worst when you get
and
the head
I would like
blisters.
sleep, and like sometimes I'd like itch my head in the middle
Oh
of the
yeah,
night,
he
and
got
it
the
would
he
just,
got
like,
the military
explode.
cut.
It was,
I know
like,
he's burned his head.
Oh yeah, I was
Really?
the worst.
The head burns. Oh, those are the worst.
It's like the Matrix where they're like
'Cause I wear
inserting
a
the
bald
tubes
head
into
fade,
your
and I
head.
did the
That's how it
same
felt
thing
with the
in the
blisters
summer.
on that. It was insane.
burn your head quick.
So I was on antibiotic, this was several years ago, but I didn't know it was supposed to be in the sun.
Oh yeah.
It burnt the top of my feet when I was in Florida, 2nd degree. 'Cause I fell asleep. I didn't feel
Oh
it till
right.
I woke up.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
Man, that's the worst.
Coming home, because we drove there too, coming home was nothing.
no.
Couldn't
Took
wear
that
my
like a champ.
shoes in the car, trying to drive.
Distracted her without
Yeah,
talking.
I did. There was a couple times where Tracy, you could tell, I was like,
You did great.
Was it as bad as you thought it would be?
when it first started, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But yeah, you do get a little used to it.
Skin goes numb as it
Depends on where
starts.
it's at.
Yeah, like right
Intensity
now,
of it.
the low part.
It's kind of like your first fight. Oh, I hope I can do this.
Yeah.
Talking about sunburns, he tattooed. So I have a
Oh,
fucked
yeah.
up tree that he's fixing right now, and we're like creating a whole image out of it. But
Why is it messed up?
it was
It
just
was-
done terribly.
It was horrible.
I
It
got
looked
fucked up by a shady
like
tattoo artist. and
crooked ass branches.
So I came here and he's like fixing it, and right now like we're in the we have like skulls added. We're about to have like it's gonna become like a whole mural basically. But when I came in, I was like a week after going to the beach, and I was like sunburned on top of me. And I asked him, I was like, "Am I gonna be okay to get this tattoo with the sunburn?" He's like, "Yeah, it's not gonna hurt me a bit. You'll be fine."
I won't feel nothing.
I tell you what, I sat here like that was. it was
That's
like,
when he was like, "Oh, you're an ass." Oh, dude.
I was like, "Oh, go
Sorry,
fuck yourself.
dude.
Oh, fuck you."
The nurse
that was a
in
lot.
there asked
Like,
me,
Especially inside of the armpit area, like just all up in here, just on the
Yeah.
collarbone, like all of it, just.
she goes, he's done like
A lot.
Yeah, it hurts like
I
on
said,
top of
oh, Sean's
bones.
did my tattoos, and
More
my mom goes,
sensitive.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
then
got
with
a
the sunburn
tattoo,
on
and I'm
top
like,
of that, so like this whole little
what?
collarbone area, like just
she
there's
has
a whole lot
so
of go
weird.
fuck
down
yourself.
here on
Yeah.
her ankle.
You didn't know?
Did you
No.
just decide to just suck it up and sit there?
You're the one that
Yeah, I
said,
just
you
sat
want
here
some
and just
tattoos.
it
We
felt
did that
like
at home.
Right.
like the feeling was the equivalent of what it sounds like with a nail going across a chalkboard, but it felt like that inside of my body.
She has a
That's the only way I could describe it.
ankle.
Have you seen those people that are like they put to sleep now?
Yeah, did you
like
see the
Post
guy
Malone.
died?
Yeah, I saw.
The one guy died, but it wasn't from the tattoo. He had cardiac arrest because he was going under anesthesia.
Oh.
People don't realize, Anna,
That makes sense.
when you go to the hospital for a surgical procedure, any procedure where they got to put you under, you sign a release because anybody that gets put under runs the risk of not coming out of it. It's dangerous to be put under. You should only do it in an emergency situation
why
or a
anesthesiologists
necessity.
get
A tattoo is not a necessity or an emergency situation, so you should never go under anesthesia to get
And
one.
then Post Malone have like 5 people tattoo
Yeah,
him while
Post
he was
Malone
under.
was under and had 5 people tattooing him. 4 or 5,
It
yeah.
was something like
I think
that.
it was a couple portraits and something else he got. Yeah, you can research it. They show the videos of it. We've done it in here with one guy, and we had 4 of us
Yeah.
tattooing him.
Was
My-
he asleep?
No, he was dying.
We was just screaming through it.
He was dying a little bit. We had my daughter and one of the other guys, his son was in here, and they were each doing one of his calves. And then the one guy and I were both doing his whole back.
It sounded like an animal dying. It's just, this is loud as
He was the one like, oh, that's not the friend zone, get out of there. Because I was getting down by his armpit up here in the back.
Oh
How
yeah.
come you wanted so many people at once?
It was our
No, it was
fourth
our
episode,
choice.
so
it was
we
our
had
choice.
2
We
people
wanted
on
to
his
do it. I
back
said,
and
hey, dude, you
one
want
on
to do
each.
4 people? Because it's always me and the other guy because we're doing a collaboration back piece on it. 2 artists creating one piece together. And so we said, hey, dude, what do you think about letting Lauren and Cam doing tattoos on you while you're getting your back done? We have 4 people. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it, and he made it 2 hours with Larry and I on his back and both kids on his calves at the same time. And then we stopped on his backs, and the kids did another hour on his calves each. And
Do
called
calves
it.
hurt? I feel like they do.
It feels like a Cuban cigar being put out on the back of your leg is how
Oh,
I
man.
think it feels. But with that being said, I am scared to death of needles. Okay, so
He's only got his whole body tattooed.
but I die and cry through them, and my response to how tattoo pain is not going to be the same as his. He's over here tattooing himself like this. Yeah, me, I'm over here dying with somebody doing it. I couldn't do it myself. I tried. It hurts.
Does it look sweet?
What do you think?
I love it.
Solid.
He's
Yeah.
got a solid picture of it.
Yeah,
and
that's your
a
dad's
thumbnail, and-
original. That's your dad's original.
So I guess since we're about to be done with the pod, let people know where to find you and any final words that you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Insta at Alyse Anderson 21. And yeah, here's my tattoo. Thank you,
First
Sean.
one for it.
First
Yeah.
one.
Hey, and guess
I love
what?
it.
It's free.
You don't have to do that, man.
I know I don't. But I can I? You know why? Because I'm Sean Clark.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Let's get you a solid
Oh,
picture
why are you
and stuff.
crying, Mom? She's gonna make me cry.
That's okay.
Why are you crying?
Sometimes tattoos don't need to be paid for. This would be one of those times.
Jeez, I was nervous on crying in this podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll get you bandaged up real quick.
Let's get this off here. I got you vlog style. Let me focus it on the tat. Oh yeah, it looks better.
Can you take a picture too?
Yeah, definitely. And then the pod on this.